to do. We're only going to go through adjust to see, and we will continue from there. I think in the next lesson, but a little recap we learned. So I think we shall start from the cell. We may not do introduction to biology. The cell is one of the key topics, as I've been telling you, about how important it is. As we learn about the cell organelles, and everything else to do with the cell, up to when you do your Form 4 KCSE exams. You'll learn about the cell, and then I'll now look at nutrition. So that's what we're going to start with. So I hope everybody is ready.
Yes. Yes.
Tuko sawa hapo?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Cell is.
Yes.
Yes.
Just a minute. Give me some few minutes, and then I'll be back to you.
Okay, teacher. Yes.
All right, I need somebody to define the cell. Please raise your hand. Somebody to define the cell. What is a cell? Are we together, students?
Yes.
All right, this one is Brian Maria, please. Define.
A cell is the basic unit of a cell is the basic unit of a living organism.
Basic unit of a living organism. Basic unit of a living organism, that's correct. And basically, that's how you can define what a cell is, isn't it? And please, we should never forget how to define a cell, right? You will see that just a simple as it is, but you may get to it. But you should know that it is just anything that is living. Anything that is living, whether plant organisms or a fungus, all those, because I'm just trying to mention all those kind of what? All those kind of living organisms. All those kind of living organisms shows everything to do with the activities of a living organism, and that's what we refer to as a cell. Right? So, the organelles. Now, when we come to organelles, what do you want to say? When you look at this, the cell having organelles within it. Now we look at a cell, right? Something that we've looked at severally. Yeah. So I believe you have your books there to see the organelles that are present within either an animal cell or a plant cell. So we start with which organelle? Somebody to give us an example of organelle. Hands up. Yes, we have Carlos.
Mitochondria.
Yeah?
Mitochondria.
Yes, mitochondria. What is the function of the mitochondria? Same, Carlos.
It is a medium of respiration. It's
Medium of respiration. It is what?
A site for respiration.
Site. Yes, we have specific organelles that we use that word as site. One of them is a mitochondria. Which other one? Which other organelle do you use the word site when answering questions? Nick.
We have the ribosomes. They are the site for protein synthesis.
Right. Ribosomes, site for protein synthesis. Which one else? Which one else? Which other organelle do you use? Another organelle that we use the word Malcolm. Which other organelle apart from ribosome?
Chloroplast. Chloroplast. Chloroplast.
Yeah.
The chloroplast.
Yeah. Yes.
Chloroplast.
The chloroplast. Correct. Yes. Correct. Chloroplast. You also use it as site for what?
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Site for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
Site for photosynthesis.
Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis.
So I think those three types of organelles, which is we are talking of the ribosomes, site for protochloroplast, which is a site for photosynthesis, and now mitochondria, which is a site for protein synthesis. Mitochondrion is for what? For respiration. Yeah, site for energy formation. So that is now when you're talking over using that word. Whenever you answer a question to do with those three types of organelles, you use the word site. Now we look at other organelles. Apart from now those three, let's mention other organelles. Which other organelles? Do we talk about? Yes, Nick, Kamathi.
We have lysosomes.
Lysosomes.
Yes.
What is the function of the lysosomes?
Of the lysosomes,
Mhm.
they destroy the aged and unwanted cell organelles through the lytic enzymes.
What do they contain?
Lytic enzymes.
Yes. They have lytic enzymes, right? That is used to destroy worn out organelles. They can also still destroy the whole cell, right? Any other organelle? Charles, Buru? Charles. Looks like Charles is not ready. Austin.
We have the cell membrane.
Was the answer organelle and its function? Yeah? Austin. I'm not getting you, Austin. Okay, let's then have Philip.
The nucleus. It controls all
nucleus.
activities. Controls all activities of the cell.
Controls all activities of the cell, correct? Yes, Brian Nganga, any other organelle?
We have the smooth endoplasmic reticulum that helps that synthesizes and transports lipids.
Smooth endoplasmic reticulum, synthesis and transport of lipids. Good. Any other? Any other? Rough endoplasmic reticulum is for what? Austin.
We have the cell membrane. The cell membrane.
Austin, please unmute.
I'm saying the cell membrane.
Nick? Put on Nick muted. Okay, fine. Let me do Brian Nganga. Yes,
Yes,
at least we
we
have. Yes, please. Go ahead.
we also have the Golgi bodies or the Golgi apparatus, and they are used for packaging and transportation of glycoproteins and also the synthesized materials out of the cell as secretions.
What does it do? Golgi
The
apparatus,
Golgi bodies. Yes, they package and transport glycoproteins or synthesized materials out of the cell as secretions.
Packaging and transport of synthesized materials or glycoproteins. Yeah. So you should get the difference between Golgi bodies and Golgi apparatus. The Golgi apparatus is made up of the secretory vesicles together with what? Together with the Golgi bodies. So secretory vesicles together with the Golgi bodies make up Golgi apparatus. The only tubular structures that are formed tubular Golgi body. But when there is vesicles, the round structured vesicles, secret vesicles, together with the Golgi bodies now make the Golgi apparatus. All right. So that is a Golgi apparatus. Yeah. Yes. Now we can we also have others like the subvacuole. When you look at the subvacuole found in plants, we also have the cell membrane, the cell wall found in plants, the cell membrane. And found in both plants and animal cells of the cell wall. For example, looking at the structure of the cell wall and its function. The cell wall has, especially when you talk about cell, give us the 4 functions of the cell wall. Four functions of the cell wall. Somebody to give us 4 functions of the cell wall. Provides mechanical support. Somebody there that is because it has what? What? And the existence of the cellulose within which is Oh, sorry, I was muted. Sorry, I was muted. Are you getting me now?
Yes, we are getting you.
Yes, sure.
We are Yes. getting you now.
Sorry, I was muted for
Yes.
quite some time. Sorry. Yeah. So I was saying the cell wall, those are the four functions we've mentioned, is that one, it offers support because of the cellulose within it. Secondly, it allows substances in and out of the cell because it is fully porous. And then thirdly, the third function is that it gives the cell its shape. It gives the cell its shape. And then the fourth one is which one? I've mentioned about protection. Secondly is shape. Another one is support. And then allowing substances in and out of the cell. Tuko pamoja? Are we together? Let me just say, get a nod.
Yes.
Good. So we continue. So I was saying, there's somebody who said the cell wall is polarized. But I said it's not polarized. It is the cell membrane which is polarized. Are we together?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, but not the cell wall. So the cell membrane having those charges, the negative and the positive charges is what makes it polarized. But the cell wall does not have the charges within it. Yeah. So it does not make it polarized. Polarized is one of the properties. Is one of the properties of the cell membrane. Being polarized, being sensitive to temperature and the pH, and also what? Yeah, being charged and polarized is the same thing, and being semi-permeable. So those are the three properties of the cell membrane. But now looking at the functions of the cell membrane, just like the cell wall, protects the inner structures of the cell. And of course, these inner structures we're talking are the organelles. Yeah. And another one, just like the cell wall, allows substances in and out of the cell, but selectively, right? Allow substances in and out of the cell selectively, not like the
Cell wall.
not like the cell
Cell
wall.
wall.
Yes, the cell wall is fully permeable, but the cell membrane is semi-permeable. Semi-permeable here, why? Because it only allows some substances selectively to pass through it, and mostly small, tiny particles to pass through it. Are we together?
Yes.
So that's the
Yes.
difference between, yeah, good. Okay, so that's the difference between the cell wall and the cell membrane. Now, of course, we've mentioned almost all the organelles. What is the major difference between a plant cell and an animal cell? Can I see by show of hands? Somebody to answer. Differences between a plant cell and an animal cell. Yes, Malcolm?
Yes, a plant cell has chloroplast, while an animal cell does not have chloroplast.
Yes, a plant cell has chloroplast because it manufactures its own food. An animal cell does not have chloroplast. Another one? Elvis? Elvis? I'm not hearing you, Elvis. Elvis? Okay, from the chat, I can see somebody says a plant cell has a cell wall, while the animal cell doesn't have a cell wall, correct? Plant cell have chloroplast, that one has mentioned, somebody has mentioned it. Another difference? A plant cell has no central, correct? While animal cells has. So we get that animal cells have centrals. What is the function of centrals? What is the function of centrals?
From spindle fibers during cultivation.
It's for formation of what? Spindle fibers during cell division, correct? So formation of spindle fibers during cell division, and it's also used for what? For formation of flagella and cilia. Yeah. Cilia and flagella. Kenyatta, are you hearing me? You're saying you're not hearing anything? Kenyatta? I hope everybody is getting me. Kenyatta here says he's not getting me. I can't hear anything. All right. Okay, fine. Yeah? Kenyatta, you can hear me? Okay, fine. So we are talking of cilia and flagella. Another difference somebody says there, his plant cells usually store starch, while animal cells store glycogen. That is correct. Yes. Plant cells have centrally located vacuoles, while animal cells, the vacuoles are tiny and found at the periphery. Good. Yeah, so this plant cells have a large subvacuole. What is usually the function of a subvacuole? Function of the subvacuole?
It contains the cell sap, which the cell sap contributes to the osmotic properties in the cell.
Correct. What makes up a cell sap? What constitutes cell sap?
The cell sap is
Malcolm?
the cell sap is a solution of sugars and glucose.
Yeah, sugars, basically sugars and salts. Sugar, salts, and water. Yeah, and the way somebody put it, it is constitutes to the osmotic properties. Yeah, so because of the existence of sugars and salts constituting now, it's now causes osmosis to take place in a animal cell, in a plant cell. And we find that it's large and centrally placed. It's also the one that usually contributes to the shape of the plant cell. Yeah, so the regular shape of the plant cell, and somebody has mentioned that as one of the differences. One of the differences of animal cell and plant cell is a plant cell has a regular shape. Animal cell does not have a regular shape, which is true. All right. So looking at all that, we're able to state actually all the organelles. I believe so. Is there any that we've not stated? Any of the organelles that has not been stated? Nucleolus. What is the function of the nucleolus?
Produce ribosomes.
Yeah.
The nucleolus contains DNA.
Nucleolus contains DNA. Really? Does it contain hereditary material? Nucleolus?
It contains
Yes, nucleolus
chromatin.
manufactures ribosomes. Nick, that's correct. It manufactures ribosomes. Which part of the nucleus contains DNA or contains hereditary material?
Nucleoplasm.
The nucleus is divided itself into two, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have the chromatin, correct?
Nuclear and
Yes. Chromatin is actually chromatin. And the nucleolus. Nucleolus is used for manufacture of ribosomes. Chromatin, from the word chromatin, contains chromosomes. Chromosomes actually what? They are a hereditary material. Chromosomes contain genetic information that is usually transmitted from parents to offspring, right? From parents to offspring. So we get that all the genetic information is contained within the chromatin. But you have that small structure, which is referred to as nucleolus, which is used for manufacture of ribosomes. So I believe we are done with all the organelles within the plant cell as well as the animal cell. Any questions so far? Okay, somebody is asking about the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm also, correct? What do you say about cytoplasm? What's the function of cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is a fluid medium in which chemical reactions take place. That is alright, Kimathi. So all chemical reactions take place within the fluid medium, which is referred to as the cytoplasm. And of course, without it, we don't think chemical reactions can take place. And it's also necessary for osmotic properties, especially in an animal cell, which does not have cells. Yeah. A question there. Which organelle is used in detoxifying the cell? Golgi apparatus, lysosomes. Detoxifying the cell is the removal of any toxic substances. And we mentioned the function of the lysosomes, isn't it? Lysosomes contains lytic enzymes which destroy what? Worn out organelles. So apart from just worn out organelles, it's able also to destroy anything unwanted within the cell. So aged organelles and anything else unwanted. So detoxification there can be part of the functions of the lysosomes. Main function of centrioles we've already mentioned. Somebody is asking what are the main functions of centrioles. We say this for formation of spindle fibers. Spindle fibers are structures that are used for cell division, which we learn in Form 3. yeah, which we learn in Form 3. Centrioles form spindle fibers. On these spindle fibers, you find that genetic material, which are the chromosomes, get attached themselves to it, and then cause the cell to divide itself either into two or several, depending on the type of cell division. So centrioles for spindle fibers. But for other cells like other organisms like the paramecium and the unicellular organisms, they are used to form the cilia in paramecium and flagella in the eugellina, for example, and all those organisms that have flagella. Yeah. So that is for centrioles. Somebody was asking, what are the two adaptations of root hair cell to its functions? So that one we shall look at it under cell specialization. I think that one you can answer it well under cell specialization. So basically, we've done a recap of all the organelles within the cell. And I think I've answered all the questions that are necessary within the cell. I think now to answer those questions to do with the root hair cell, we are now going to look at specialized cells. What do you understand by a specialized cell? Alvin?
This is a cell that has undergone structural modification to perform specific function.
Yes, a cell that has undergone specialized modification, correct? Or a certain specific kind of modification to perform a specific function. We get that when you're talking about specialized cell, it's just a cell which has all those organelles like mitochondria, the nucleus, and all that. But we get that it has a certain modification. Taking an example of a nerve cell, for example, is one of the specialized cells. It's referred to as a specialized cell because one is that it is very long and it has some other tiny structures within it. Yeah, tiny structures or some other structures, modifications that makes it special. So for example, if we're talking of a nerve cell that takes information from the toe, yeah, to the spinal cord, yeah, from the toe to the spinal cord. Where do you get the spinal cord? Spinal cord is usually found at the back, isn't it? So when you're talking of the spinal cord that is found at the back, then you'll talk of one particular cell connecting from the toe up to the back. That's just one single cell. And generally we know an animal cell or a cell to be so tiny, a small structure. But here we are talking of one single cell that moves from the toe up to the back. Then that one makes it very long. That's one single cell. So that now makes it a specialized cell. Are we together? So, all right. So that's now what we're talking about, a specialized cell. And we get that it also is modified to perform specific functions. I've given an example of that nerve cell. Yeah, and we've also given other examples like a sperm cell. When we're talking of a sperm cell, we're talking of a cell which has a head, it has a large nucleus, it has a tail, and that's one single cell. That single cell has even, it also has it has all those other organelles. Yeah, it has other organelles. These organelles are used for the normal functions within the cell. But we get that it has its own modifications. Yeah, it has its own modifications that make it special. When you're talking of a root hair cell, the root hair cell, in this case, you get that it's a normal plant cell, but it has an extension. Yeah, it has an extension. This extension making it elongated in such a way that it forms certain other structures out of it. So that makes it specialized. Give me other examples of specialized plant cells. Specialized plant cells, Nick?
Other examples of the specialized plant cells, we have the muscle cell.
Yeah?
Muscle cell.
Nick? No, plant cell. Muscle cell is an animal cell.
Oh, plant cells.
Yes, specialized plant cells.
Palisade cells.
Palisade cells. Why is this specialized?
Because they contain numerous chloroplasts that trap light for photosynthesis.
Yes, the key thing is the numerous chloroplasts. Any other plant cell can have chloroplasts, but the difference within this palisade cell and other plant cells is the number of chloroplasts being numerous. Yes, others have mentioned guard cells. Guard cells, why is this specialized?
Guard cells. Okay. The guard cells are specialized because they have thick inner walls and thin outer walls for opening and closing of the stomach.
Yes, correct. Thick inner walls and thick outer walls. Thick inner walls and thin outer walls makes it specialized. And also, we are talking of the shape, bean shape. Bean shaped, yeah. So you get that the bean shape of the normal plant cell is usually regular rectangular shape, but for the guard cell, we have its bean shape, but usually found in pairs. So that is what makes it special, right? Epidermal cells can also be specialized. Why? Why epidermal cells specialized? Anybody to answer why an epidermal cell is specialized? Just unmute and answer. Somebody, why is epidermal cells specialized? Unmute and answer. Somebody is asking what the question is. The question is, why is epidermal cells, being a plant cell, specialized cell? Why the epidermal cell is specialized is because it is what? It does not have chloroplast, yet it is what? A plant cell. Right? Of course, epidermal cells are the ones that make up epidermal tissue. So we are talking as one cell, which is epidermal cell, yeah, that make up the epidermal tissue. So we find that these epidermal cells usually do not have what? Chloroplasts. So because they don't have chloroplasts, it makes it special, and yet they are plant cells. All right. So in short, we're only trying to say that specialized cells are cells which have unique features within it. They are cells, but they have unique features within it. And that one makes it special. Of course, we have several specialized cells, specialized animal cells. We've already mentioned the nerve cell, sperm cells. Which one else? Charles Buru?
Blood cells.
No, we are saying
Red blood cells.
red blood cells, correct?
White blood cells.
White blood cells.
Muscle cells.
Yeah?
Muscle cells.
Muscle cells, why is it specialized?
It has contractile fibers which help in movement.
Yes, contractile fibers. It has contractile fibers which are able to contract and relax to bring about movement. Any other?
Brain cells.
Yeah? Which one else? Platelets, brain cells. Why would somebody say brain cells are brain cells being specialized? Maybe because they have many mitochondria, but it may not be as specialized as such. Somebody asked, does the red blood cells have a definite shape? Yes, they have the biconcave shape. Somebody has answered there. And also that shape makes it specialized. The biconcave shape. Another thing about the red blood cells not having the nucleus. It's very normal for any animal cell or any cell to have a nucleus. It's one of the key organelles. But you find that this one does not have a nucleus. Instead, it has another pigment, which is a hemoglobin, that makes it now special. Meaning they are definite shape. What do you answer by a definite shape? A definite shape is a shape that you're able to define. So this one you're able to say that it has biconcave shape. You're defining that particular shape. So it means it has a definite shape. Yeah. Then why is animal cells classified as irregular? All animal cells have irregular shape, correct? But the red blood cell is unique or specialized because it has that biconcave shape. That's a question somebody has posed there. All right. No, Somebody says, because why are animal cell classified as irregular? Because it does not have a cell wall. The function of the cell wall is actually to give the shape, the regular shape to give the cell a regular shape, yes. But you may not say animal cells do not have regular shapes because of lack of the cell wall. Not really. It's just because it doesn't have a regular shape. Yeah. Plant cells have regular shape because the cell wall has given it its shape. Yeah. It makes it have that regular shape. But you cannot say that the plant cells, the animal cells have irregular shape because of lack of the cell wall. I think that one is not a better explanation for that. All right. So that is cell specialization. Do you have any question to do with cell specialization? Any question to do with cell specialization? Is it a must for a cell to have a nucleus? It's one of the key. It's one of the key organelles. It is a must for a cell to have a nucleus. But we find that it's only the red blood cell which has no nucleus. Yeah, because when you're talking of a nucleus, first of all, mention the function of the nucleus. The nucleus, its function is to control all the activities of the cell. Yeah, all the activities of the cell. So it's important for it to have a nucleus. But the reason why a red blood cell does not have a nucleus is because of its function. Yeah. Because of its function. Umuro Yatani, please mute. Yes. So the nucleus, because of its functions for packaging of hemoglobin, and therefore it is instead of it having the nucleus, then it should have hemoglobin for it to carry out the function of carrying oxygen. Examples of unicellular organisms, somebody is asking there, that is low. Examples of unicellular organisms, we have so many. We have what? Somebody can somebody to answer. Lloyd is asking examples of unicellular organisms. Let's have examples of unicellular organisms. One, amoeba, bacteria, we have the Euglena, we have almost all protozoans, trypanosome, Plasmodium that causes malaria, trypanosome causes what? Trypanosomiasis. All those are unicellular organisms. Basically, you can just give examples of protozoans. Protozoans, ni kama amoeba, Plasmodium, trypanosome, yes, bilharzia species. So all those tiny organisms that are able to cause diseases, which are actually not bacteria nor fungus, the ones that cause diseases are unicellular. Yeah, the ones that are free living, like for example, paramecium is unicellular. Yeah, so all those are unicellular organisms. Is hemoglobin a cell organelle? Somebody is asking that. Hemoglobin is not a cell organelle. Hemoglobin is a cell pigment. It's a cell pigment. So we cannot say that it's a cell organelle. Other questions?
Which organelles have a double membrane?
Somebody to answer that. Which organelles have a double membrane?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria, correct. Any other?
Nucleus. Nucleus.
Nucleus, double membrane, and any other? Any other organelle with a double membrane? Subvacal, no. Subvacal cannot have a double membrane. The other one is what? Is a chloroplast. Chloroplasts have double membranes. So you're talking of, yes, chloroplasts, mitochondria, basically chloroplasts and mitochondria. Any other question? So what are the organelles that make up a red blood cell? If, for example, somebody is asking there that Cheluget, what organelles make up the red blood cell? All other organelles are there, but they are fewer in number. We're talking of the cytoplasm. The cell membrane itself, the red blood cell is a cell, so it's covered by a cell membrane. Yeah. It also have few other organelles. So the reason why it has few organelles is still to give room for the packaging of what? Of hemoglobin. So that is why it is. It has few organelles, but it has organelles. It has organelles, but very few. Majorly lacking the nucleus, even mitochondria. Yeah, but it can have very few of other organelles over a cell. Okay, any other question? But without a nucleus, the activities are not well coordinated. Cheluget, referring to? Cheluget, you're asking a question there?
Referring to the point that red blood cells don't have nucleus. The function of nucleus is to coordinate activities in a cell.
Yes. The function of the nucleus is to coordinate all cellular activities, correct? What we know about the red blood cell, its function is basically to do what? To take oxygen and transport it. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Take oxygen and transport it. So it doesn't have many other functions. As long as it's able to pick the oxygen by use of that hemoglobin and transport it. Unlike any other animal cell, which has to do with, for example, it has to do to respire, to bring about formation of energy and carry out any other functions, depending on where it is found. The key function of what? of the red blood cell is just to transport oxygen. For this particular hemoglobin to combine with oxygen to form carboxyhemoglobin, to form what? Oxyhemoglobin, a compound which is taking it to the cells. So it doesn't have many other functions to be coordinated by the nucleus. Because this function is just one major one, to transport oxygen, also transport carbon dioxide, then it doesn't need the nucleus to coordinate any other activities. That's a good question. Which cell organelles lack nucleus? What do you say about that question? Which cell organelles lack nucleus? Is that 12 remned? This is asked by Brian Mwanzia. Yes, a nucleus itself is an organelle. Somebody has answered that correctly. Godwins, you've said a nucleus itself is an organelle, so you can't say which organelles lack nucleus. Nucleus are not found in organelles. Nucleus are found in cells. So you should ask which cells lack nucleus. And the only cell that lacks nucleus is what? Is a red blood cell. Somebody asking, do platelets have nucleus? What do you say about that? Do platelets have nucleus? First of all, you should divide platelets. Are platelets cells? Or are they fragments in the blood?
Sure.
Yes, somebody is asking the question I'm asking myself also. Are platelets themselves cells?
Sure.
Yes.
In our notes, we wrote under blood tissue. Blood tissue. These are fluid containing red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets.
White blood cells, red blood cells, and
platelets.
So the question is
platelets are cells.
Yes?
So it means platelets are cells.
Means platelets are cells.
Yes.
Why didn't we say platelet cells?
The same way we don't say mitochondria cell.
Yeah?
No.
Yes?
I was saying, since a tissue is similar cells form a tissue. So the cells, they should be cells.
Platelets to a greater extent may not be defined. They may not be defined as cells. We usually refer to them as fragments that are found within the blood. Yeah, fragments that are found within the blood. So you may not actually clearly define it as a cell. It might have some components of a cell, but it may not fully be qualified to be referred to as a cell. Sawa?
Yes.
Okay. Any other question? Any other question to do with cell specialization or cells? Are organelles made up of other organelles? What is that question now? It's just like, what is that question referring to? Somebody is asking their question. Aje sasa. Yeah. Okay, what are the qualifications of something to be called a cell? Of course, how have you defined a cell and what is a cell and what is found in a cell? A cell has organelles. Key organelles is the nucleus. Yeah. And other organelles like mitochondria and lysosome and all those. Anything which contains such is what we refer to as a cell, enclosed by a cell membrane. Any cell must have a cell membrane. Yes. So that is what a cell is. Any other question? All right. So I think looking at now what we've learned about the cell specialization, and cell specialization and cell organelles. It's very important for you to remember all those. Yeah. Organelles are key. They're very important. Each and every organelle has a specific function. And we find that there are certain cells which have a certain abundance of certain organelles depending on their functions. When you talk of a muscle cell, for example, it has plenty of what? Which kind of organelles?
Mitochondria.
Mitochondria, correct. Reason? Why?
To help in bringing about movement. To help in bringing about movement.
For what? The energy for contraction and relaxation. So mitochondria usually provide energy. So it depends now. This one is also important for you to know which organelles are plenty in a given kind of cell. Sawa. Yes. Name the organelle that will be found in large numbers in secretory gland. Lawrence, can somebody answer Lawrence? Golgi apparatus, correct? Barak, Golgi apparatus, because of the word secretion, Golgi apparatus, its function is for packaging and transport of secretions. All right. So you should know which organelles can be found where, which organelles can be, of course, all cells might have all kinds of organelles, but we can have one with plenty of a certain kind of organelle. You see that? Depending on the function. Depending on the function of that particular gland, function of that particular cell. Yeah. Like for example, secretory gland, the way somebody has mentioned it, it has plenty of Golgi apparatus. When you're talking of a cell that requires energy, like a brain cell, it has plenty of mitochondria. When you're talking of a cell that is used especially to destroy pathogens, for example, it has plenty of lysosomes. Yeah. And even for destruction, a cell that requires, or part of the body that requires manufacture of proteins. For example, when you're talking of enzyme producing glands, yeah, it has plenty of either ribosomes or secretory cells, yeah, secretory vesicles. So the secretory vesicles and also Golgi apparatus is for secretions. Which cell is most abundant in the stomach? You should know, what does the stomach do? Yeah. What does the stomach do? Stomach is quite wide. Yeah. Stomach produces enzymes. Stomach produces some gastric juice. All those to do with what? Secretions and all that. And also the stomach does a lot of churning. When you'll be looking at that, it does a lot of churning. That one also requires contraction and relaxation of the muscles, which require mitochondria. Okay. All right. So I think that is it for today. I believe so. Somebody is asking our exam results. Elvis, do you want your exam results to be posted here? Huh?
Yes.
Results, Nizen, we already finished marking. We can't post it here. Hmm? I'll
Okay,
read for you where maybe one day.
Who has the most marks?
Yes.
Who is the highest?
Yes. Yes. You don't have to know. You
And
just
what
know
about-
when you
and
receive
what
the
about
results.
the highest score?
Just here.
The highest score.
Okay, don't.
Can't remember.
Lowest.
I've already posted the marks. I can't remember. No, there's no need of you knowing the lowest. You only know your marks.
Okay, what was the range of
Muda
the
ananiambia
highest?
nisitume kwa wazazi kwa nini? Carlos, kwa nini nisitumie wazazi na wazazi ndo nalipa fees?
Don't look good.
Too bad.
You look good.
Osla.
Nitatuma kwa wazazi, ndo nalipa fees. All right, fine. So we will think that is our lesson today. And we shall see what to do next. Today we were how many? We were 29, 32, up to 32, meaning others have not joined us. So I think we cannot proceed with the syllabus. We shall see what to do. Probably maybe do certain revision and see what to do in the next lesson. Sawa?
Yes.
Good being with you today. We hope to meet in the next lesson. Sawa. Bye for now. Salimia wazazi wenu.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye.
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 All right, see you.
Matilu, man, stop. Mr. Odur, is it okay for us to leave now?
Yo.
You cannot hear.
Satuski. It's too low. It's too low.
Highlight this, highlight that.
Highlight that.
It's too low. It's too low.
Why you clapping? What's too low?
It's too low.
Next lesson is ngapi?
Mwenye kuzima radio.
Matilu, next lesson is ngapi?
Today's lesson 7.
Kesho.
Next lesson is kesho.
Next lesson ni kesho.
Kesho.
Wase bizinani man.
Lessons ngapi kila siku?
Bizinani lini?
Monday ni 3.
Monday ni 3, Tuesday ni
Caleb.
Nini?
Bizinani man.
Ati?
Business ni lini?
Chavarvar.
I think Thursday.
Naangalia timetable.
I think ni Thursday.
Chavarvar.
Alafu.
Yeah, Thursday.
Bizinani Thursday 10 to 11:30.
Yeah.
Nasikia PhD anafunza jibu.
Nikubaya mzee.
Kuna mseko ni timetable.
Niko nayo.
Sambie tafadhali kama tume group.
Sawa, nitatume kwa group.
Wase. Kesho kila mtu asikize.
Sikuwa chura chulgut.
Tunaweza toka.
Wewe Edward wewe.
Bara kutumia mic acha na chat.
Yo lazima redio.
Ni Matilu, sio Yobra, ni Matilu.
Matilu ya karege. Matilu.
Cheki siwache kuwa chura na uweke mwenyewe.
Eka rege.
Wewe eka.
Karege.
Wewe sina host endi meeting rada. Kwa nitashinda tu hapa tukichachisha ujinga. Hello, solo umekangwati. Carlos zima hiyo staff. Zima tara.
Bituni.
Ujinga Carlos zima hiyo staff mse.
Si lesson imeisha.
Yes, tuna bengo host
Asi ka imejudge na mode ame left si hadi si tunaweza left ama kwa staff tulikuwa tumeamua tu bengo.
Kuna
we
check
tubengo for Manchu Alliance High School senior Msodor.
Bado na record.
We tuongojeni ni za comps results.
Reason aizi tu pesa ai
tumlambe mse.
Matilu. Let's meet in the lip hub.
Okay. Matilu.
Yo.
Bado unatumia Duolingo?
Ndio. Umanzi ako na sauti tamu ni wa nani? Hebu slide namba yake hapa Tara mse.
Kesho ni kupeana namba ya baba.
Allah.
Kupeana namba ya baba.
Kesho ni Mao.
Joust.
Kesho ni Mao lesson ya kwanza muda. Kesho na unakumbuka bila alisema kuhusu Zoom. Alisema ambia baba nione after Zoom.
Jo nilichachishia update kwa babangu mse. Hadi babangu.
I'm international.
Ukamlie mbona umenyamaza Joust?
Onil bana unakaa pedi. Toyo kopia mse.
Muda wake alituma notes ama bado?
Hai. Kwani kulikuwa na notes?
Alikuwa amesema atatuma notes.
Mimi nasikia.
Wapi?
Alikuwa amesema angewahi mude tuachiwe kwa group.
Haya.
Kwani wewe ulikuwa wapi lesson ya Kem wewe?
Nilikuwa tu hapa, mimi sikusikia mambo. Anyway,
Suti yako na kani ya Monster, si ndio?
Ati?
Suti na kani ya Monster, si ndio?
Buda.
Bro.
Rada guys.
Matilu unajua bado ina record. Rada huka.
Mnabonga?
Matilu ana flex na suti na kani ya Monster hapa.
Na venye imeisha. Isha bro.
Guy ni cool Buda.
Isha. Cheki niulize. Ile masa kwa sasa acheza ngoma, muda aliniongelesha.
Saa ngapi?
Before lesson ya bio anza hadi mamoda wako wamefika.
Hakuongea?
Sinisikia msudura kibonga sijui mfaya nini.
Ule mtu alikuwa acheza ngoma za wakadinali. Alikuwa anasema atamtoa na attend lessons tena.
Amesema hivyo?
Alikuwa anasema hivyo. Lakini sidhani akupata. Ni wewe.
Mimi.
Sisi mimi.
Kumbe ni Matilu.
Matilu ni wewe?
Ni Matilu, ni Mayobra.
Lakini sio mimi.
Wewe na hii stuff ya form 1 kiwa lance hapo kwa screen as in hiyo kuna nyama.
Hiyo ni
mimi nishachak Rosafi.
Unajua bado ina record huka. Aya, huka mnyeza sha left. We, kwani imeniacha kwa meeting peke yangu sasa?
You left.
Hello? Haya, sawa. Nitawaambia labda inaweza kuwa mwisho ya wiki. Yeah. Wanafaa kuwepo hata au ndio wamelipa, wengine bado. I'm wondering. I will call them. Yeah. Sideline them.